This incident was recorded in police records in the Blackwood area of Oregon as an unexplained case. Everyone has a moment in their life when they say, "I wish I hadn't done that." Mine was in the late fall of 2014, when I took a chance on a road in the interior of Oregon that was barely visible on the map. My name is Elias. At the time, I was doing interstate trucking. I was young, and even though I didn't have sleep problems, I could go without sleep. Sometimes it was tough. That day, I fell for the navigation system telling me to take a detour and save 40 minutes. The Blackwood Road. Even now, the name alone makes my blood run cold. The road zigzagged between massive pine trees. My headlights weren't illuminating the deer darting between the trees, but rather shadows that seemed to constantly retreat. For about 20 minutes, I didn't see a single light, not a single oncoming vehicle. Then I heard that sound. The radio started crackling, then went completely dead. But just then, I heard a clear whisper, as if it were inside the cabin. "Stop." Was it my own voice? Was it from lack of sleep? I don't know, but I didn't take my foot off the gas. 5 minutes later, I saw a dark shape in the middle of the road. I slammed on the brakes. An old, rusty bicycle was standing right in the middle of the road. It wasn't even lying on its side. It stood upright, as if someone had carefully placed it there and left. It was pitch black around me. Apart from the rumble of the engine, there was only the sound of the wind rustling the tree branches. I had to get out and move the bicycle off the road. When I opened the door, the air outside was much colder than I expected. I walked towards the bicycle. Just as I was about to reach out my hand, I saw a faint light from the depths of the forest on the left side of the road. It wasn't a campfire, but rather a yellowish, flickering light, reminiscent of a gas lamp. As I looked in that direction, I heard the sound. It was like a child's voice, but not cheerful, more like a broken record trying to imitate something, with choppy sounds. "Help," said the voice. But the voice wasn't coming from the forest. The voice was coming from the radio in the door of my truck, which I had left open. I ran back to the truck and locked the doors. My heart was pounding so hard, it felt like it would burst through my chest. When I looked in the rearview mirror, I saw a dark shape right behind me, just behind the trailer. It was human-sized, but its arms were disproportionately long for a human. I stepped on the gas. I ran over the bike, and the sound of metal crushing echoed in the cabin. I was afraid to look in the mirror, but my eyes were drawn to it. Whatever it wasn't moving. It was standing still, and I was getting away from it. When I looked again, I felt that the distance wasn't increasing, but rather that it was getting closer to me. I was going about 60 miles per hour, but that shadow kept the distance close, without moving at all. A little further down the road, I saw an old church. It was an abandoned church, but that yellow light was on in the porch in front of it. A yellow light hanging like a gas lamp. Just as I was approaching the front of the church, my truck's engine started making strange noises. "Please, not now," I begged. Just as I reached the front of the church, my truck suddenly stopped. It was very quiet around me, and the church was abandoned, its windows broken, its roof collapsed. Even the winds howling and the sounds of insects had stopped. There was complete silence. It was dark, and I was waiting helplessly. I was afraid to get out of the car. At that moment, I heard a slight tapping on the right window. Tap, Tap, tap. I turned my head slowly, scared. There was someone on the other side of the window, but it was too dark to see clearly. It was impossible to make out their face. I couldn't even see their eyes, as if they didn't have any. At that moment they said, "Isn't it very hot inside, Elias?" They knew my name. I froze, struggling to even breathe. He put his hand on the window. His fingers were very long, his hand was very large, covering half the window. The sound of his nails scraping against the glass literally echoed in my brain. I took my lighter out of my pocket. I don't know why I did that. Maybe I just wanted a little light to see him clearly. The moment I flicked the lighter, he jumped back. I guess he hated the light. This was my chance. I turned the key and the engine roared to life. When I turned on my headlights, the road ahead was filled with things that looked like what I had seen on the window. Maybe more than 10 of them, holding hands. I closed my eyes. I pressed the gas pedal all the way down and just drove the truck. I felt myself hit something, but I didn't stop. I didn't even slow down until I reached the main road. The sun was starting to rise. I don't know how many hours I had been trying to get off that road. The sun rose, and I saw a gas station. I stopped at the gas station and got out. There were stains on the front bumper of the truck, but it was a stain of a liquid that smelled like black oil and resembled rotten eggs. And I found a piece of fabric stuck in the door handle. It looked like a piece of clothing, but I wasn't sure what it was. After that day, I decided never to take any unknown and deserted roads again.